you won't just seize that day. What you doing tomorrow?
Hi. If you're on Zepbound or Tirzepatide or any of the GLPs for that matter, and you've struggled with your A1C number, I'm going to tell you all about my A1C journey from beginning to the end. So stay tuned. So in the beginning, when I was first diagnosed pre-diabetic, I kind of didn't believe it and I didn't want to listen to my doctor because I thought that I didn't eat bad. So I was like, there's no way I'm struggling with that. Like I know people who eat tons of sugar and I was just like, I don't have sugar problems. I don't eat sugar like that. So I wanted to deny it. The thing that made me actually finally realize that I actually had it and that it was actually serious was when my immune system started to slow. I started having infections, or things just took forever to heal. And the final nail in the coffin was I kept getting a UTI infection and it just took forever to go away. And that was bothering me because I had never really had infections like that. And it actually was during COVID. So, during COVID, it was even worse to go to the doctor. I remember that I was going to have to go to the doctor and the doctor was saying you might have to do your own testing. And I was just like, this is crazy. So then I started to realize that, okay, this actually might be something serious because at that time, like 45 years of life, I had never had a problem. And then fast forward to 2022, when I shattered my leg. It took me 18 months to heal, and I probably could have took that long because it was just older. I'm older, but I really think the diabetes had effect on it. So I just started noticing my body not healing as longer. I think I got COVID or the flu, and it took weeks to heal, and that's just not me. So that's when I started to take it seriously. And I realized that it was actually something about it. My numbers bounced around from 6.5, 6.2, 5.8. When I started to get really serious about it and I realized I didn't want to be on metformin forever, that's when I opted for the gastric sleeve because I was like, if it's just weight related, then I'm going to lose the weight because that's one of the things I've always struggled with. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have the gastric sleeve. And I lost 60 pounds right away on the gastric sleeve, drinking protein mostly, getting my 100 grams of protein and hydration in. I lost a whole lot of weight really quick. I went from like 230 to 180, 176, I think, which is really close to my range. But I looked good, felt good. But then life happened in 2022. You guys know the backstory. I'll put the link of right here for you guys to go back. But um, it just, it didn't, I didn't lose the weight and keep it off. And so that brings me back to my Zepbound journey in 2025. So one of the things I want to talk about is that this is not a straight line. It's not linear. I'm going to show you an image of my journey and my numbers. It's not a straight line. When I introduced Zepbound right away, I won't say right away. So the first two shots, I really didn't notice much, but by the third to fourth shot, I noticed a difference in my own demeanor, my mental clarity, my what do you call it, mental fog. And I didn't even think I had that because you're running on autopilot so long, you do so many things that I didn't notice how much my mental clarity was actually not where it needed to be and that I could actually be sharper. So that was one of the first things I noticed on Zepbound. Of course, the appetite changed. I didn't really notice the appetite as much as someone without a gastric sleeve because we had already had an experience with the ghrelin change with the gastric sleeve. I still can eat very little because my pouch is still intact. I have a very little pouch, so I can't eat a lot of food. I've always had to stay away from carbs in the last 6 years, but even before that, I really did. I stood away from carbs. I don't really do fried food. I had lost weight on Weight Watchers, so I don't do butters and oils and all those good things. So I had learn to do a lot of things well anyway. But what the noise that was silence was peace. I don't know how to describe it any other way. More than it was just food noise, it was like a peace about it. So that affected that was my A1C numbers or my sugar not having as much control over me emotionally. Um, Hold on, I'm reading, guys, so I wanted to make sure that I get through all of this. So the first thing was just realizing that I actually had a problem with my A1C numbers, then my immune system, and then healing my body after my broken leg. Mental and emotional was the gold piece for me. So Zepbound Zepbound has two ingredients, GLP and GIP. They're responsible for lowering your sugar inside of your blood, and then also regulating your insulin controls. So with that, it just has helped me be calmer. And I knew I felt it, but my numbers are going to show it. So when I show my chart of my numbers are the lowest they've been in this whole time on my A1C journey. But another number shocked me, and we're gonna talk about that also. Because first I was kind of really like mad and frustrated, but we'll talk about that. And that I won't leave you guessing. That was my cholesterol number and my lipid numbers. My lipid numbers are off the chain, and I didn't understand that. But then after doing some research, I'll tell you guys more about that. The shift in awareness and tying back all to my journey and trying to make sure that I keep my A1C numbers down and that I stay regulated. Again, I didn't want to be on metformin. I wanted to try to figure out what I was eating and putting in my body. There are some predispositions, but no one in my family. I don't have a history in my family of diabetes. When my mother got older, she was diagnosed with diabetes. But again, if I look at her journey, I think it was more going on there than just weight, because my mother, I'll insert a picture, God rest her soul. My mother was always little, 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 little. I mean, my mother was 4'11". Her pregnancy weight with me was 99 pounds, and her older woman weight was like 70 pounds. My mother was very tiny. So to have diabetes, again, it was just weird to me because sugar wasn't a problem with her, and weight definitely was not a problem for her. So I didn't understand it, but I'm still trying to put together I'm still learning this A1C number and this diabetic journey, what it means for me, and how I deal with it and how I handle it. I have not taken metformin since I've been on Zepbound, so since November 25th. 2025. It is April 2026. I have not taken the metformin, and I'm happy to say that my A1C number is 5.6. So, and I had that number taken the other day because I started life insurance. You guys know I keep talking about my insurance kicking back in for my job, but I also did life insurance. And when you do a certain amount, you have to also do your blood work. So my blood work came back 5.6 A1C number, and so that is amazing because that means I'm out of the pre-diabetic range also. But my triglycerides were through the roof. And again, I don't understand. It's a journey that I'm going to have to learn and pay attention to. So, one of the things I want to talk about is just as you're on this journey, as we're going through this, guys, it is truly a journey. And the scientist in me wants to look at the data, wants to look at the facts. So I have shared with you guys my data going back to 2020 when this first became a problem for me, how my numbers have been blowed, and then some of the things that I'm going through in each stages of those lives I've kind of pointed out. So high blood sugar, why the 10 reasons why it's bad for you to have high blood sugar. So number one, high blood sugar weakens your immune system, which I know I can attest to that one. It slows down your healing. It increases inflammation in your body. So if your joints and your body feels heavy, your organs, or your overall health, it increases inflammation. It affects your brain. So fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, and depression. And in 2020, I won't say depressed, but 2020 was just heavy for us. I remember the Black Lives Movement, just all of the things. And then fast forward all these last 6 years, it's been a lot for me as an African American, if I'm honest, as you're watching the things. That's also part of me wanting to do Race Stone retreats. But fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, and depression. Also with 2020, like we were outside a lot 2020, 2021, but then 2022, when I broke my leg, I wasn't. So my vitamin D numbers went down really low. So that also contributes to depression or how you're feeling. And for me, it wasn't a depression like I don't want to get up in the morning. I don't. But it was just like, this is also heavy. And I take caveats on that because it was heavy. Like it's no joke what was going on and what's still going on. Like even in the wars and the things today, it is heavy. It is not light. So for me to be like, oh, I'm supposed to be jolly and happy, I'm not. But paying attention to how your body and your mind shifts is very important. And so for me, I can say that there was a mild depression in the 2020s, 2020 to 2023 range for me when I first started taking this weight serious and then noticing my A1C number. So I think that could have contributed, but I do not want to ignore that life has just been heavy. It increases insulin resistance over time. So when your numbers are high, then you're resistant to insulin. So it's kind of like a catch 22. Not only are you resisting the thing that's causing you problems, but now it's just allowing your body to store it, which leads to a lot of fat storage, right? Which is why it becomes easier for you to gain weight because your body is essentially telling you to store this fat because now you're resistant to insulin. That means it increases the risk of heart disease. And women over the age of 50 are one of the number one. We're the number one category for heart disease. And so as I'm getting to be 50, that's important to me, right? So that's why I I've never taken the weight gain lightly over the years, but when I was younger, it's kind of like, oh, it's fine. I'm such an active mom. I'm such an active person. And it almost makes me tear up because sometimes it makes you frustrated, right? Because I know I'm doing so many things right, and it seems like the things that are going wrong just outweigh the good, and it's heavy is the word I'll use again. So it gets to you. So no, I don't want to have a heart attack or a stroke and leave my kids. I am in a transitional phase in my life, but everything I've done, right? If you think about it, since I became a young adult at 20, I was thinking about this today. I have 6 kids total, 2 stepchildren and 4 biological of my own. Um, and of my first 2 kids, I say I gave them the most of me. They're 24 and 26. I gave them the most of me. Like, you're a young woman going and going and going and going, early marriage. Just so they got the most of me. They got everything from me. I literally poured my heart and soul and life into the first two. And then my 17-year-old and 13-year-old, I'd say my 17-year-old got the safest version of me because I wasn't really sure. I kind of had second guessed as the older ones got older. I second guessed it and kind of calmed down a little bit. And so I played it safe with my 17-year-old. And then I say my 13-year-old, my daughter, the only one that's a girl, is getting the best of me. And I hate to say it like that, but that's kind of how this journey has felt. So I say all that to say, no, number 6 is the risk of heart disease. No, I don't want to die of a heart attack and a stroke. I've literally blood, sweat, and tears poured my life into this life that I have, good, bad, or ugly, right? Whatever it is, I've literally poured my life into it. So it's serious. It's very serious. It affects your energy levels. This one, I guess I can see, but I have such a high energy that it's harder for me to see because I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't drink a lot of coffee. Like I told you guys before, I love caramel macchiatos, so I love sugar, not coffee, and I usually do decaf and soy milk because I'm lactose intolerant. I've never drunk a Red Bull or any of the energy drinks. I don't need energy, and yet I am a woman with 5 degrees, 6 kids, been all the things, done all the things, and the amount of things that I can do. I used to, when my mother passed away, her eulogy, I talked about her being like a shooting star, and I didn't understand that when I was younger. But we just literally have this enormous amount of energy. So the energy one, I used to say I didn't understand it, but it is there. So just because I am already on 20 doesn't mean like now I'm on a 10. So maybe when I look comparatively, I'm still way more energetic than most people, but for me, it has slowed down. My best friend and I used to joke because whereas it used to take me 2 hours to like deep clean my house to a full T, right? Now 2 hours, I've barely finished the kitchen. And so I don't know if that's older age or slowing down. My best friend and I talk about that. I don't understand what this is, but it's real. And then sometimes I'm just like, it's fine, slow down, it's fine. Um, so yeah, so energy levels have fluctuated. I can attest to that. And then vision. So my vision was already great. I've always had 20/20, but then in 2020, I started wearing glasses because it was slightly down. And I've already talked about this before that on Zepbound, I don't even wear my glasses. My prescription was a 15. I don't know much about eyes, so don't. I just know his number was like 15, which is something like light. Um, and I don't even remember what my vision was. Was it like 2018 or something like that? But it was a pretty mild subscription. And it was for like I couldn't see the periodic table as well from afar away. Like I couldn't read the numbers, whereas before I could always just read it no matter where I was in my classroom. So that started to slow down that I couldn't see the periodic table. And then I needed the glasses. And then reading up close got kind of blurry too. But like right now, I haven't worn my glasses in almost a year. I rarely wore them anyway. It was mainly in the classroom for PowerPoints, fine reading from a distance, and since I'm not in a classroom, I really don't need it. And then driving, sometimes the further away the sign was, right, that I couldn't see it. But as long as it was like 200-300 feet away, I could see it. So I rarely wore my glasses. And in this zip bound journey, my vision has improved. I won't say back to normal. If I did a vision test today, I'm quite sure I'm not back to 2020, but I'm not as blurry as I was before. So maybe more than my vision was changing, it was the sugar, if that makes sense. And then the last two is it impacts your metabolism and weight regulation, which I can see, but I won't say I struggled with weight. It's like the chicken and the egg, right? I left high school at 125, guys. When my pregnancy weight with my first child at 22, 21, because he was born premature, at 21 was 155. So that's not horrible if that makes sense. And I'm 5'5", if I have never said that to you guys. But so left high school at 125, 155 was like my range when I had my first child. When I had my second child, I think I went up to like 160, 170. And then my third child, I remember I was at 180. So this number just kept growing over time. So part of me felt like it was just natural weight, but I've watched women have babies and lose the weight, have babies and lose the weight. I never did that. So looking back, maybe it was a lot of my sugar regulation. And then I just told you guys hormonally, from my own childhood, I didn't heal. So also cortisol, I think, is really big. So I get all my numbers ran all the time, like at least twice a year, because I am paying attention to it. I've said to you guys millions of times, your doctor is your guide and your help, and they're the ones who went to medical school. I went to medical school too, but but they're not the end all be all. I also believe in God and a higher power, but guys, you have to pay attention too. They're looking at your chart, maybe 3 minutes, maybe five. They are not deep diving. You can see more than them, and I know with AI and technology, it can help them do things quicker, which is awesome, but you are still responsible, kind of like your college degree transcript. You are responsible, not your advisor. So I pay attention to my numbers. So when I look back over my whole picture of the constant weight gain over the 20 years of 30 years of my adulthood, I do think that there was a lot hormonally going on in there. So insulin resistance and metabolism regulation is also what happens with sugar. So I say all that to say, I don't know if my childhood trauma and my life trauma and cortisol spike is why my insulin numbers went up, but I do believe they go hand in hand. And I guess I'm gonna have to do a little more research on that and get back with you guys and tell you about it. And then the other thing is that, guys, this is often very silent at first. So your A1C numbers is sneaking up on you, and I think that's why it's so many of us, especially in the African American community, which is my community, where you get diagnosed and then you're losing a limb, you're losing a leg, you've got gout, you've got lupus, you've got all these things because kind of like me, you thought it was okay because things just got a little bit harder, but you just didn't pay it any attention. But we just have to be better about this number. So I'm trying to pay attention to it. I've been trying since I got the number right, 2020. I did the gastric sleeve. I still haven't figured it out. And I honestly, let me tell you one of my biggest pet peeves, and I'm going to say it closely, is as soon as I go to the doctor, most doctors will tell me stop eating fried food, or like they'll tell me stop eating fried food, stop doing this, all these things that they categorize me and pre-diagnose me with because I am a big black woman. I don't eat like that. Don't assume. Know me. Get to know my story. So that's one of my big pet peeves. So people automatically assume it's what you eat, and like they have this stereotype of what they know you're already eating, and that means you're not even looking at my numbers or trying to figure me out because you haven't even studied me. Don't do that. All right. So what is the good of improving your blood sugar? So one, stronger immune system. Two, faster healing, of course. More stable energy. Better mental clarity. Improving your mood. Reducing inflammation. Lowering the risk of diabetes, better heart health, which is really big for me, um, easier weight regulation, and overall body function. So when I think about the Zepbound journey, right, I keep talking about it because for me, it has felt like more than food noise my whole life, and definitely while I'm on it. And so maybe paying attention to this number is what's been helping me. I like the GLP, the GIP, which one is it? But maybe it is for me personally that strong insulin resistance that's really taken a toll on me in my life and play that background bad guy, if you will, that's been doing a lot of things. And so with my A1C number being able to be regulated, it's allowing my cortisol to calm down. I'm assuming my inflammation to calm down, my brain fatigue or mental clarity. And so how I'm approaching things and handling it, it's just really been good. So that's the last thing I'm going to do is just tell you all the things that I feel like Zepbound has done for me. So it didn't start my journey, but it has tremendously supported it. So I'm so thankful for everything that I have on this Tirzepatide Zepbound journey. I guess I got to stop saying Zepbound because right now I'm on just Tirzepatide, and I'm on the 7.5. I haven't mentioned that much because there's a different video about the 7.5. I'm in my second week of the 7.5 compound Tirzepatide. It is not as strong as Zepatide in the sense of weight loss. I'll stop because if not, I'm gonna get all. That's a different video. All right, back to this one. So, what the Tirzepatide actually did is simple. The GLP and the GIP-1 medicine helped regulate my blood sugar and regulate my appetite, which allowed other things to slow down. It improved how my body used insulin, which is really important because it helps your body respond better to insulin. It lowers my blood sugar over time, so that's directly tied to my A1C number. It reduced my appetite and food noise, which I've said all the time. For me, it's more than food noise, and it slowed my digestion so that I'm hungry or fuller longer. And I guess that does help because I keep saying I don't have food noise, but you guys know I didn't do it for 11 days. And I can say I ate more. I saw food more. I paid attention to food more. So I guess I got to eat my words that I didn't have food noise because I was just so focused on the cortisol, the trauma level. So 11 days without it, I definitely had some food noise. It helps stabilize your blood sugar, which means fewer spikes, fewer crashes, fewer the desire for food, more consistent energy. It supports weight loss, but that's not the only benefit. Weight loss improves insulin sensitivity, which lowers your A1C. So they all kind of play hand in hand with each other. It's given me consistency, which I didn't have before, despite willpower, strength, and the ability to just keep fighting as a human being. It helped me get back on track after my numbers went up. When my A1C numbers went back to 6.2, that was hard, mentally, emotionally. Everything's about helped me feel like I gained control, or Tirzepatide. It created the conditions for healing, and it didn't do the work for me, but it's made it actually possible. So
Hey guys,
this is
thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it to this point, I'm about to show you my 7.5 shot for this week and then show you me working out. I joined Hotworx, so I'm so excited about that. So I'm going to show you some of the workouts there and then introduce you to my next week's video where I deep dive into my triglycerides or my lipid panel. So once again, if you've made it to this point, I can't wait to see you next week when I upload my cholesterol video. Thanks, guys.
Looking outside of the window, city lights are crying like a widow. I'm driving by the place where I met you.
So hey, I'm at Hotworx. You know, I told you I'd get to going, so just give y'all a little tour of it. I'm doing a cycling class today, but they have the dumbbells, which is what I'm going to try to do. I said dumbbells, I meant kettlebells. And then they have weights and the balls, and then full bench. So that is awesome. But I'm gonna do the cycle burn for 15 minutes. I'll come back on here afterwards. I'm kind of hesitant because one of my kids at my center pulled my thumb apart. So it's been hurting for like 3 weeks. I probably should actually go check it out, but I'm hesitant on hurting it. I'm gonna get a brace since it's still hurting because I know if I go to the doctor, there's nothing they can do. I know it's not broke because I can move it, but it still hurts like in my joints. First I thought it was like arthritis or something crazy like that, but it's just this right thumb, so I know it's from the kid who pulled it. But I'm gonna get my workout in. There's a girl I decided to follow. She lost like 137 pounds just lifting weights. So I'm gonna show you hers, or I'm gonna tell you who it is. I'm gonna link her down in the description because I'm gonna use her workout as well as doing my Hotworx. So I'm excited, and then of course walking my 10,000 steps a day. So my class starts here in a few minutes, so I will jump back on.
Endorphins going to our body, the energy is up. You are ready to rock your ride today, yes? All right, we've got a new introduction today. It's called the back bar. So in 4, yes, 1, I said, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, 3, do the shorts, yes, push down, picture, right there, down, down, pull, last one, we say,
Okay, so the only thing I was gonna do is hip thrust, and then I'm gonna repeat that 3 times. So thank you for hanging out with me, guys.
So this is my A1C journey, and I just wanted to share with you guys everything about my A1C journey. So once again, if you have not subscribed, commented, or liked, I would really appreciate it if you do. I love making these videos. This journey, living this journey out loud, has been so healing for me, and I hope that it touches someone's life. So I am so thankful for you guys. So thank you so much. This has been Clauthia Ray, and this is The Quiet Room. Bye, guys.